Welcome back to the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast. I'm Ty from the Unemployed Architects. This week I'm going to be talking about my streams this last week, or my stream rather, because I only did it on Saturday. And then I'm also going to talk about a lot of upcoming, I'll just say, ideas. I have a lot of concepts in my brain that I'm kind of trying to suss out. So I don't know how interesting this will be, but I've been thinking about stuff a lot, and I tend to be in my head pretty hard about it and have all these ideas, but I feel like if I say them out loud and kind of refine them into words, maybe it'll come into fruition a little easier. But so that's my plan. So the last stream I did, well, I had Tuesday of last week. I did the taps for it's an animal shelter in Pekin. And that was on Tuesday. It was busy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for me last week. So I ended up and took Friday off. And then Saturday night, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do. I kind of put off deciding for a while. I wanted to change it up because doing the same streams over and over and over, just playing what I feel like is I'm kind of over it at this point. I'm assuming that people listening are probably as well. They don't want to just hear the same set over and over, same songs in the same way every time. So what I decided to do, and I didn't decide this till pretty late, but I decided to just do medleys and mashups. So any set of 2 or more songs that I usually do kind of live, I just did them as a set kind of in, and I think it ended up and it was around 2 hours. But, yeah, so I didn't really prepare as good as I would have liked, and it might not have been the most, maybe convenient way to do it, just because, if I'm doing 6 songs in a row, I can't really communicate with people listening as well. But, I don't know, it wasn't as good, wasn't as well received as some of my other sets, and I felt like the performances were all okay. They were all good enough, and I sounded okay. But I don't know, just didn't seem to like I've been saying. I think people are a little worn out on these live streams. But anyway, so yeah, it went okay. I didn't really promote it too crazy hard, and I don't know. I get kind of, I was a little disappointed that some of the people showed up and listened when, at this set, when I kind of wish they would have been listening to my all-original set more so. But, it's whatever. There'll always be more streams, and they can always look back to the old ones as well. But there were a couple of people that just randomly showed up that I wish, this wasn't my favorite one for them to randomly show up on. But, anyhow, it went okay. And I think I'm going to keep a similar theme for next week. I'm going to do this Saturday night, maybe do all like kind of medley-ish stuff, but do originals, and I'm thinking about maybe busting out the kick drum. Of course, I'm not 100% sure that I don't have a show Saturday, so that could change up my plan a little bit. But I did shoot an email to the bar owner to see what they have to say about, because we usually play on the patio over at Bray's, so we could end up and have the show. I'm just not sure whether they're going to want to, since they have limited seating, and I'm sure live music isn't like their main prerogative. So we'll see kind of how that works out, and I'm sure I'll be talking about that a little bit next time. But and I edited a podcast picture, new updated one. My old one is a little stale, and very not unique or doesn't have a lot of characteristic to it. So I decided I'd gotten the pictures that are the new podcast ones done through that Fiverr app a while ago, and then since it's the Weekend Warrior Show Recap Podcast, I thought it'd be cool to have like my week outfit where I'm kind of in a suit, and like one of my friends says I look like a car salesman in that, but really it's just a bobblehead version, kind of caricature of myself. And then on the weekend, I turn into the kind of the comic book version of myself, or it's like that famous Superman picture where he's pulling his shirt open, but instead of the S, it has T-Way. So that way, there's contrast and kind of fits the theme of the show. And I edited the picture, so I edited it on the old picture. So that's the background is the old picture. So I want to keep something from that, just I guess for nostalgia's sake. And then I've been doing a lot, like my acoustic album, the cover, the album art has like a little bit of a rainbow on my face. It's kind of like there was this prism that was shining rainbow light on my face, and Lo took the picture and then edited it and all that. So I've been trying to use that as like a little bit of a connector. So I try to throw a little bit of a rainbow as like a connecting point to all that stuff, the album art and the acoustic album. And with the videos for my acoustic album, I'm gonna try to have I'm gonna have all anime videos, and then have some sort of rainbow scene or rainbow, just tiny little thing to kind of connect it all together, but different artists probably. Anyhow, so that's where the new picture comes from, if it's up there and you're looking at it. So yeah, so that's the new picture. I've been the albums or the ideas I've been having and the concepts I've said I was going to talk about are just for my kind of future projects. I've been thinking a lot about it and what I'm going to do. So I've been working on an Unemployed Architects album for years at this point. I mean, over 5 years. My big, full release was 2015 and it's 2020. So 5 years I've been working on that. And I have, I have When You're Gone, Hideaway, When You're Gone, Heightened Senses, Howlin' Bones. What else? Is that it on the first half? It seems like I'm missing something, but that's 4 songs. I would maybe like to get 5 or 6, and those are all in the studio. And I've been working on one song for the part 2 of this album, which is going to be, everything done, recorded, tracked at my house, and then sent to my buddy Jeff to mix and master. Oh, Montauk would be another one on the first half, and then maybe one more. I don't know if I'm even going to put Howlin' Bones on that section of the album either. But anyway, so it would be Hideaway, When You're Gone, Heightened Senses, Montauk, and then maybe a newer song of mine called The Light for full band kind of studio recordings. And then the second half, the trilogy song, which is all but done. And then I started Fool's Gold the other day. Started just kind of outlining it. And what else is there? There's a few. There's probably 3 or 4 other ones of those. I'm gonna, I'd like to have, 5 and 5 probably, or 6 and 6, or 6 and 5, some combination in the album, which I've talked about this on a different podcast, but it's gonna be called The Lock and the Real. And The Lock is kind of in the studio, kind of, it's expensive in the studio, so you can't really spend all the time in the world, but you have unlimited things you can really do production-wise. You can get as crazy as you want. And then the Real is kind of more like, the songs are the songs, but it's the full band version, as good as we can make each individual. We have all the time in the world, but not the facility or we're not able to just do whatever we want. It's just the instruments. It's kind of brass tacks version of the song, but every part of the song gonna sound hopefully good. And I'm doing most of it the tracking through my iPad and then sending it to my buddy to mix and master. So that'll be the second half, the reel. It's kind of like the real songs. And then, so I don't know when that's going to be done. I mean, it might be 2 to 5 years. I have no idea. Hopefully it's sooner. I've been trying to carry my iPad around a little bit more, and instead of mess around on my phone, when in my downtime, trying to, at least start outlining more of these full band kind of songs I want to do. And I started the second track on the acoustic album. So that's part one of like a 6-part plan. I don't really know how. Like I said, I don't really know. I'm just kind of talking these ideas out to see if there's anything there more than anything. But so then I'm gonna release my acoustic album at some point, and this is gonna be a lot of acoustic songs that have already been recorded, but just acoustic versions, kind of more broken down, maybe slightly different genre versions of these songs. So like a simple kind of form and instrumentation, all done on my iPad, all done by me and, like I said, the guy that I send stuff to mix and master. And simple. That's kind of the name of the game, but just straightforward, simple, best I can. Probably 10 tracks on that and I'm gonna call that the Unemployed Architects Presents, and then my name, or something similar to my name. I was thinking of going by the moniker maybe Ty John, since my name's Tyler John, and then come up with a interesting last name. Just something that's, more unique than my actual name, so it's easier to locate. Because then the second part of this plan, after these 2 albums are done, would be I want to release essentially 4 different EPs. So I want to do the Ty John Trio, or none of these names are set in stone. These are just ideas. And I want to call it Player 3. And it's going to be, the 3-piece version of, well, not version, it's going to be a separate album of new songs, just in 3-piece. So with me, Dave, and Lo only. And just kind of different vibe, different feel. And then from there, I want to do just a one-man band album that's or EP that's like 6 or 7 tracks. And that'll be a little bit more straightforward to like recording process. I haven't decided whether I'm going to do what I'm going to do in the studio, what I'm going to do at home. But I would think if I do the 3-piece in the studio, it would be pretty quick, honestly. I don't think it would take crazy long with just, 3 instruments and some vocals. But then obviously I want to do Ty John, whatever, acoustic, just acoustic albums. No extra, crazy production. Not a lot of percussion, probably. I haven't really decided on that, but kind of just acoustic, kind of maybe slower pace type stuff, and 5 to 7 tracks on that as well. And then I want to do a Ty John album that is a non-player called Non-Player Character or something like that, in NPC, and that'd just be covers. So I've started a couple little covers here and there on my home recording stuff, and I'll probably only try to do like songs that I have interesting takes on. I won't just do like songs that I do the exact version. Well, I can never do the exact version, but if I do it pretty close to the original, I'm probably not gonna. I want them to be interesting versions of the cover song. So, and the Ty John, the Unemployed Architects Presents Ty John, whatever, that's gonna be the acoustic album first, and that's gonna kind of connect everything together. So you get the Unemployed Architects album done, which will be 10-ish tracks, and then I do the Unemployed Architects Presents the Ty John acoustic album, all acoustic, older tracks, maybe a couple new ones, but mostly older ones that just acoustic versions. And then Taijan Trio Player 3. Now that's not going to have anything to do with the Unemployed Architects, but since I have that connector album where it presents the Taijan acoustic album, it's going to connect it that way, and then the rest of them are just variations of, Player 3, Player 2, Player 1, and then the non-player characters, which, those will kind of be all their own subsets or EPs. So, I don't know, just some stuff I've been thinking about. I'm trying to figure out more of a plan. Been sitting kind of and thinking about it a lot, but not really saying a lot of it out loud. So, this is me doing that. This is just the beginning idea. It's not all sussed out or anything. So, some other stuff I've been thinking about. I definitely want to do more guests from my podcast. I feel like that'll just make it more interesting, and I'll be better at talking, which I talked about a lot about that last week. And something I've been thinking about also is just how kind of my personality and how I am. I need to ask to open for people more, like people that are doing better than me and are better than me. I'm pretty bad about doing that. Like I'm very stuck in my own way, kind of, and I'm used to doing shows myself, and I feel like I need to get in front of more people. So I don't really care about getting paid for any of those shows. I've already gotten used to not getting paid for shows because I've been doing them every weekend, even though, I'm not doing the sound and whatnot. I'm just live streaming. So I've just been living off my kidder paychecks. And so I've been thinking, like, I have a really hard time asking. I have a really hard time being like, hey, I really like what you do. Usually that's where I want to stop. I just want to be like complimentary, and I hate the idea of it coming off like I'm only saying that I like what you do and I enjoy what you're performing and your songs. Can I open for it? I hate that second part, because it's like, to me it would make me think maybe they're just saying that first part to equal the second part. So I have a tough time, but I need to get over that. I need to just ask people to open for them and just say, I'll do it for free. I don't really care about money. I just want a way to get in front of people. And I think that hopefully will lead to more opportunities and more possibilities of, just getting in front of a lot of people. It's just I have this I have a good drive to get stuff done, and I work pretty hard, but it's like a double-edged sword because of that drive and because of me just like pushing through, I don't ask for help very well, and I get stuck doing, like, I'll just do the same thing over and over and over again. I need to get out of my own habits. So I need to try to open up a little bit as far as maybe trying some new things. I've always wanted to get into festivals. I don't know how to get into festivals, but I feel like I would do okay. Maybe the 3-piece would do okay at the festivals, and we would get up in front of a lot of people. But I can't just force that into fruition. Like, I keep I send out emails and stuff like that, call people, but it doesn't really happen. So I think the only way I can really make that happen is if I get up in front of more people, and I don't really know how to do that because I play a lot of bar shows. That's kind of what it boils down to, and I'm stuck in that kind of mode of doing bar shows, but I don't want to just be a bar band necessarily. I like that I can do that. I think it adds to my skill set to be able to entertain a bar full of people that are complete strangers, never heard me before. But I feel like, my main things are my originals. I definitely want to push those forward. And if I'm playing for free to open for other bands, I can just play originals, and I can really push that and get seen in front of other people. I think that's what needs to happen. So again, I'm just kind of spitballing a bunch of ideas I've had, kind of trying to make them more than just concepts, make it more of a plan. not really good at writing stuff out, so I guess this is me kind of thinking about it that way. But anyway, so The Lock and the Reel, the Unemployed Architects album, and then Unemployed Architects presents Ty John Taylor, or whatever I'm going to do. And that's going to be an all acoustic album. And then from there, Ty John Trio, or some variation of that. Player 3 is going to be the name of the album, the artist Ty John Trio. And then the one-man band Ty John album, Player 2. And then Player 1 with just acoustic Ty John album. And then the non-player character Ty John album. So that's a lot. It's probably going to take me 15 years or something to get all that done. But, it's a plan. It's something I'm trying to set in motion. And I guess by saying it out loud, maybe I'm starting it. I don't know. And then the podcast. I've been thinking about doing video for the podcast at some point too. I know that a lot of people have switched over to that. I consume podcasts both ways. I tend to listen more than I watch, but I do watch sometimes. And I do have a pretty awesome room set up that I could make more into a studio once all the streaming stuff is done. Just an idea, just a bunch of ideas. This was an idea podcast, I guess. So I'm not really sure how the weekend's going to go as far as if I'm going to have a show or if I'm just streaming again, but that'll be kind of what I'm talking about. And, maybe chipping away at some more of these ideas. But anyway, so that's all I got for this one. I appreciate anybody who takes the time to listen as always. And I will talk to you guys next week. Have a good one.